Welcome to another episode of VFX and Chill with Hashi and Seth. I'm
What's
Seth.
up, everybody? I am Hashi, and we are coming at you live.
Straight live.
Absolutely. Welcome to VFX and Chill, everybody. This is the show where we break down an effect from recent TV or cinematic visual effects and then try to put them back together again.
Thank you again for Michael filling in last week. Don't get too attached. He'll never replace me. I'm not going anywhere. I'll never die.
You're irreplaceable, Seth.
Oh, yes. So true. This week, we are, hello to everyone in the chat. I can see you this week. I see Mr. Mashowitz. I see Mr. Rabinowitz. I see all these people that we know. Hashi, today.
Yes, Seth.
I don't think we have any follow-up. We didn't prep follow-up, so let's just pretend we don't have any, unless you can think of any right now at the top of your head.
Hey, how was your vacation?
Oh, man. It was with kids. So
that sounds like you had kids along then.
Yes.
So
yes,
wonderful.
How was your week? Not on vacation.
Oh, my week was lovely. It's the last week of school for the children. And so we're excited to have them back in our homes after 1 month of in-person learning. So, it's exciting,
Man, 1 month. That's a blessing. Okay. So I'm out of jokes. I'm really excited to get to our effect today. Hashi, tell them what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, today we're trying to comb through some suggestions from users, which are you viewers out there. We would love you to suggest lots of stuff so we can jump on that. But both Seth and I saw at least the first episode of the latest Marvel show, Loki. We're really excited by how genre-bending the show is, and also how approachable a lot of those effects are. I mean, as a TV show, they're working a little bit leaner and getting through some stuff, as Disney lean, but quite exciting. There are some really cool effects in the show, and we're going to try to attempt to do a Loki special. This is a low-key show.
No,
I had to drop it right away because otherwise.
No, you didn't have to.
Right.
I mean, no one asked you to. There's no one standing here demanding you do. I love this show. I love this show so much. This is like this. I've loved all the Marvel shows so far. I thought WandaVision was spectacular. I thought Cap and the Bird, whatever that one was called, was actually, I think, Cap and Winter, Bird and Winter, Winter and Bird. I thought that was a really great one for the normies, and actually really great, like surprisingly really, really great.
For sure.
This one holds a special place in my heart.
Because it is based on concepts that you've previously pitched in Hollywood.
Yes, it's based on stuff that not based on. It's very much like. This one holds a special place in my heart for the production design alone. Like, the sets in this thing, the motion design in this thing, the VFX, my God, it's just a freaking gorgeous show. And it's like a friend was like, this is like Tempo, which is one of the Red Giant shorts we made, and Spy vs. Guy, another Red Giant short we made, combined in many, many ways. And so if you liked those shorts, you will absolutely love Loki. If you hated those shorts, you'll probably still love Loki because it's great. All right, now we've collected our Loki money. Today, we wanted to do this awesome TVA door effect because portals are cool. And these portals are particularly cool, especially in the trailer. I believe in the episode, the cut is a little bit different. We don't see the door open from this side. But I like seeing the door open from this side. I like the little flickery.
Yeah, it's like a little it's a bit of a rectangle. It's a domino.
It's a lot of a rectangle, I'd say. Is it you can't tell from this shot, but I believe in other shots it's a well, you can't tell there. It is 3-dimensional. Why don't I can pause this so we can just
Sure.
So at the
So
beginning, oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
yeah,
Hush.
so we start out with kind of this electrical little like signature, and then it kind of opens up like an old tube TV in a way. Like
Yeah.
it goes wide and then expands up into this. What color would we call this rectangle, Seth?
I like an
Who can
amber.
see color?
I'd say it's like,
I
yeah, it's like an off-white kind of
yeah,
ambery glow. Um, and before we get into the fun like masking stuff there, I'm looking at like, so first off, I'm looking at this like flicker. There's some chromatic jazz going on in here.
for
It's
sure.
all,
You can see, yeah. And for people who don't know, chromatic is the separation of the different channels of light, either in video or in real life, like the way a prism splits out the red, blue, and green light into different
and
spots.
there's almost
So
some, I might even be able to make this, let me see, I'm going to expand this a little bigger. I want to get a bigger look at,
we're ultra widescreen here.
I want to get like a huge look at this like flickery little flare going on here. Give me just a sec. All right, and so you can see here, like, is that moving for you? Yeah. So like, it's got this almost like there's a turbulence going on in there. It reminds me of when we used to do a lot of Andrew Kramer's like patented like trap code, like particular with vector blur
Mm-hmm.
on top. It's that kind of a
Yeah, for
little bit of
sure.
jazz happening in the middle, and then we get just a flare, just an old fashioned flare, and then it opens and it looks like the mask. I just am curiously checking the stuff. It looks like the mask part of it, the width, like the thickness of the outline, stays pretty much the same as it opens.
Yeah. So it opens and then umbrellas up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just this little, kind of glassy plexiglass looking thing that glows amber. They've got that chromatic displacement behind it. That's a good example right there. You can see when there's some brighter elements, you can see how the blue is kind of shifted to the left and up a little bit, and the other channel is shifted down. So,
And it's 3D, we can tell from top and bottom.
I think that this would not be difficult to build out of After Effects 3D solids, and in fact, base it off of one solid and just add a second one behind it that gives it a teeny bit of extrusion factor,
Oh, that's smart.
which would be easy to do, and then we can scale it up. Ooh, suggestions in the
In the
chat
chat.
that we get Mr. Kramer on here sometime. I think that would be delightful.
Oh, definitely. I was texting with him the other day, and I think we should make that happen for sure. Actually, there's a lot of people in this chat right now that we're going to have on the show shortly and soon.
Amazing.
We've got a dream list of guests, and many of them have actually already said yes, they're in. So get ready, folks.
Excellent.
To
I
not
see
just have
you're
us.
you're showing the way that you emerge from this
This is the most
portal.
exciting part to me.
That's really cool. It's like I mean, it's the classic, walking through walls, clipping effect where you are, by stages of Z depth revealing a person. And in this case, you would be faking that all the same way you would do it if you were making Harry Potter run into a train station wall or
yeah.
whatever else.
I actually haven't done a lot of this kind of work where you're having to kind of create a fake depth mat on a person.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple ways to do it. I mean, you could. One of the easiest is just animating some matte chokers on top of this all and maybe helping them out with a couple of masks if you wanted to like make the neck disappear or stay, occluded longest or whatever. And there was this really cool filter I stumbled across the other day called Minimax, which is sort of like an ultra choke in colors and matte edges
Is that in
really
After
efficiently.
Effects?
It's in After Effects. It's like channel or something like that. I'd never seen it before. But Yeah, this is a fun effect, and it has a lot of uses whenever you have to envelop someone in flame or literally make it look like they're emerging from a jello-y amber thing like this. So I think this would be a lot of fun. And
Well,
could
I'm
we?
surprised that you're not wanting to like generate an AI generated depth mat for this. Kind of like it's your answer. It's your answer for everything right now. I'm probably looking for an more interesting route for the folks who are scared of that, like me.
For sure. Now, in that respect, I'm going to let me try to open up something on my screen that I could share with
Yeah, I'm gonna go
you
over
all.
After Effects.
All right, let's see.
Your screen's live, so be careful what you search for now.
All right, okay. Careful for my search. Maybe clear out the search history here. This is Runway ML for machine learning. We went over this a little bit last week, which was kind of fun. And one of the crazy things that this does, there are a lot of depth generating AI things that are out there. And in fact, we never got to really use this, but for our test episode of the show, we had our buddy Seth reenacting the death scene of spoiler alerts for Mortal Kombat.
People
for
die.
when Scorpion dies.
There's mortality.
Oh, sorry. When human Scorpion dies, before he's resurrected, and then they say at the end of the movie that death doesn't matter. Anyway, Seth laid on the floor nicely.
Like a Hashi spoiler alert was that it's bad. Essentially, it was just.
I didn't say bad. But Runway ML is this interesting collection of video tools, specifically this one called Green Screen, made the rounds a little while ago. And I have been playing with it just to test out what kinds of things it can do. And remarkably, it has a lot of cool sense of just being able to key out something from a video by guessing what it is. But one of their other tools, kind of in their home, is they have this, where are we? Here we go. You can colorize images, which is kind of cool. They have a machine learning based upscale in case you've shot something in HD and you really want it in 4K or something like that, or you have old SD footage that you want to look better. And then this, which I think is amazing, it's called Estimate Depth from Images. And you basically just drop in a video file here. And let me show you one of the results I got out of our test episode. So that little clip of Seth I was playing, I fed it to the machine, and a few minutes later, it gave me this.
Nightmares is what you gave him.
Now, what's remarkable about this is just like a CG render of a depth mat, obviously anything that is brighter is farther forward in space, and anything that is darker is kind of farther back. And so let me see if I might be able to pull up a little example when I was playing around with what you could potentially do with something like this. Obviously, with CG renders, a lot of people are used to using the depth mat as a way to blend in atmospheric effects or something. If you have a smoke stock element and you tell it to be occluded in the bright areas but visible in the gray, it's a way of using this as basically a luma mat. And if you decide to apply an effect to the luma mat or any other Z depth aware kind of effect, you can basically tell it, I want you to be visible where it's only dark, or I want it to be visible where it's only light. And you can get some really nifty effects out of that.
Stu Mashwood said that really captures the depth of me, Seth.
It really does, actually. Yeah. You're deep person.
With a weird smirk on my face.
It's lovely.
Is this the same thing you showed off last week, by the way, in the episode?
I did show this off last time. I think I neglected to call this what it is, which is, again, app.runwayml.com. So app.runwaymachinelearning.com.
Incredibly marketable URL, as most things are in the proprietary. So let's head over to your After Effects if we can. And let's see. Absolutely. What are we going to do? Well, we're not going to do that though, right? We want to try out.
No, let's go. Wait, let's. Can you pull up the clip again, just so we can look at that? So that clip is if you wanted to break down how you'd do this clip, it's really just you'd film the empty plate of a wall, and then you would film the characters walking in just right in front of the wall as if they were coming through a doorway.
Yeah.
Then the trick is that basically you're kind of doing a switcheroo where you're keying the character through that fake door, and then as the door disappears, now you're just in the footage of that character there. So can we do what we did for our test episode and have you shoot a plate for us?
Yes.
Emerging from a door.
And then you want to like prep a door or something on your end while I go shoot that?
I'll prep a door over here because that would be fun.
Let's prep a door, man. Prep a friggin' door. I'm gonna put you on After Effects and I'm gonna step out and shoot a plate. Be right back.
All right. Lovely. Now Seth has shared the plates with me over here, and I'm going to try to quickly pull up the reference on my end so I can take a look at what those look like. All right. Let me see. I've saved them in here. Where are we? Enjoy my lovely, very, very organized. Welcome back, and see you around again. Clips. What do we call them? That is the door. Okay, so we're just going to scroll through this really quickly and just take a look at what this effect looked like. So we've got this door. It's cool. It's got a little bit of like scratchy textures kind of applied to it. Gives it a little bit of a cool feel. And as we discussed, it's a rectangle. It opens up like that. It does a thing. Let's do this the very, very fastest way possible. I'm just going to dive into my kind of random archive of stock things that I've found over the years. Let's go to, I've forgotten how all of my files are organized. All right, so let's go to, oh, this is an old one, Riot Gear. Riot Gear, I remember, came with some cool textures, metal textures, maybe some grungy textures. Let's see what we got. I'm just hoping that I have something that is similar enough to this already that I can use it. Let me import this one. This is kind of a neat grungy texture. It has just a little bit going on. It doesn't have those scratches that I really like. So I'm curious if there's a free version of this. Let me go to one of my favorite resources, PX here. And I'm just going to look up Scratch. No, I'm going to look up Cratch, I guess. All right, Scratch. Okay, these are that's kind of cool. That's a little bit more like what I was looking for. Let me see if I add metal to this as a descriptor, what that is like. Now, this site, PX here, is a lovely site that has a bunch of images that are available. Most of them without even, they're just free for personal and commercial use. And originally they were mostly CC attribution, and now they are almost completely, you don't need to attribute anything, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image to my folder here. Let's see, where are we? VFX and chill. Call this a scratched. I don't know why we got a weird thing there. All right. So back in After Effects, let's combine a couple of these things together. Let's bring in this scratchy plate and this grunge plate, and I'm just going to mash them together a little bit. I like these like bright scratches right here, so I'm just going to mask those out, feather this out a bit like that, and let's play with some blending modes. Let's see if a soft light, maybe more than that. Let's try, yeah, that makes it a little bit nicer. And a very quick brightnessy, contrasty thing. I just want to bring out that white stripe more than anything. And in fact, I should probably just use something like a screen transparency, right?
Oh man, I wish I had a White Stripes video to cut to after you said
we definitely need a White Stripes.
I can just do it. Bum, 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 bum. People like this. Bum, 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 bum,
Jack
bum, 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 bum. Hey. Bum, 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 bum.
All right. So I'm going to put this on this side, and I'm going to put this over on this side. I don't know why I did it like this, but why am I like this, Seth? I'm gonna. I really want
This is
these
the
up and
question we all
down.
ask about ourselves.
I'm spending too much time on this. All
I
you
don't know.
need, I
That's
should have
pretty
just
cool.
said, you just wanted scratchy-ish texture, so there's something there on the edges. And then on top of this all, I'm going to add a. Should I resize it here or resize it later? I love when you have a really long file name and the effects control just muscles out the project window. It's very rude. Scratch. There we go. Okay, so let's look at, I'm going to throw this into a new comp. I'm just working super fast and loose for no reason. Let's make this 1,000 pixels wide and 2,000 pixels tall, like that. Control Alt F to fit this to frame. So now what I've got is this rectangular shaped thing like this. Now I'm going to add a solid on top of this. Let's make it a white solid just for fun, named after that famous band, the White Solids.
Or named
I
after me. I'm a white
double
solid.
clicked right up there, White Solid. I've added a mask here, which I'm going to convert to a subtract mask, and then I'm going to press F to reveal my feather keyframes, dial that up, and so the edges look a little bit brighter than the rest. And one thing that I could try now is the blending mode of this layer. I could try Stencil Alpha, and what that's done is it's made it so I'm somewhat keying out, or not keying out, but matting out the middle of this little bit. And if I double tap M to reveal the mask properties, I could try turning down the mask expansion in it. And you see, as I dial that up, I reveal more of the edges, but I leave kind of this clear middle. So let's rename this comp the door text, and rhymes with vortex. Let's save our project because that is a very good thing to do and should be one of the very first things that you do. Seth, I'm going to add an AE projects folder here.
I'm about to add some
Door.
elements, some crap into this. Here we go.
Oh, sweet.
Plates.
Send me some plates. I want them.
Now, would it help you if I got started on the roto of me? Because I have this large green screen here I could have just filmed in front of, but I didn't.
Oh, did you cast the green screen aside to have some space to fit your personality on screen? And
Thank
then
you for understanding my situation here. I'm going to open up After Effects and I'm going to start rotoing things.
If you missed that, I changed this to 1,000 by 1,500. It was too tall. So we got the door texture here. I'm going to run a little script that I made. I've made this available online before. It's my create folders thing. It's the same as if you had After Effects start up with a default comp, but I don't know why my default comp got disconnected. So watch this housekeeping. I'm going to put my door texture in pre-comps. I'm going to put comp one. What the hell was that anyway? Oh, that's where we'll build it. We'll put that under comps then. We'll put all of these pieces under our elements. And now back in comp one, we'll call this portal door. And just by default, I kind of always use an HD comp at 24 frames per second, or at least something close to it. And in here, I'm going to drag my portal door. Oops, I'm going to drag my door texture is what I meant. I'll make that 3D. And now there are some really amazing scripts that do this, but I've turned it to a 3D layer, and I'm using F11 and F12 on my keyboard to switch between a custom view like this and this view. And I'm going to leave this one right here because now I know it's right centered and everything. But I'm going to duplicate a copy and move it back. Let's see, how far should we move it back? The door doesn't seem very thick on the show. So let's say 125. A nice annoying number. And on its scale, I'm going to just make it a -100 on the X. That way these scratch patterns aren't totally duplicated up on top of each other. And now you'll see that in this custom view, you can kind of rotate around these and see through them a little bit. It's a little bit of a frosty object. And I love when a primitive ends up being a shape in a show like this, because it's just fun to be able to build it in After Effects. It's back to the roots of multiplaning with crazy things. See, I could use math here to figure out exactly where this should be.
Or anchor points.
Or anchor. So many better ways to have done that. But you know what? Just doing that by sight, and then I'm just going to scale it down. I'm not even going to.
I love that you picked the texture. I would have just gone with, like a white solid that I vignetted and such, and you went and made it all good.
I did. So this needs to be back in Z space, 125, but divided by 2. And one of my favorite things in After Effects is that you can enter math into a property and do it.
Literally
like
the most game-changing thing that happened to me in like 5
remarkable
years is to realize I can type math into places in After Effects besides the expression area.
It's so lovely. So let me duplicate this and this position. So for example, I want this minus 500 because I want it minus half the width of that door. You can see what I'm doing. Why am I explaining these steps to you people? You're here because you
can see what Hashi's doing.
Good amount of After Effects.
What I'm doing? Probably not.
What?
Because I don't have a screen for it.
What are you up to, Seth?
That's an excellent question. Allow me to. I said that too early. I should have actually taken a second and set up this OBS Streamlabs stream. Let's see. After Effects, Seth. Keep talking, Hash. I'm going to shut up while I do this.
All right. So I'm obviously just adding a side to the door. I'm going to add 2 sides, but I'm not going to add a floor to this because no one needs the bottom of a door. Okay, so we need to add
Lincoln
1,000 to this. Abraham Lincoln, famous $5 bill model. He did some other pretty cool stuff. Look him up. All right, let's see. So door, I'm just going to save this door. And what's kind of fun about After Effects is that I could grab all of these 3D solids and then just right click on them and say pre-compose. And I'm going to move all the attributes into a new composition. And this is one of my favorite new checkboxes is the adjust composition to the duration of the layers. It doesn't matter in this case, but it's a very handy one. So what happened? Everything got all flattened out and confused. That's because I want this to be a 3D object, and I'm going to press the Collapse Transformations button, and I'm going to enable a 3D switch. And what's happened now is I have my 3D controls back, and you'll see that this is just one layer, but it previews as all of this, which is wonderful.
Looks so good.
So now we have this little door kind of thing here. And because we built this procedurally, all of the texture is coming from right here. I could do something like come to this grunge here and add some CC toner.
I wasn't paying attention. Have you set up for, is it all, sorry, I was off shooting the plate. Did you already animate the, do you need me to seeing eye dog here? That's really orange.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Seth is my color seeing eye dog.
Just to saturate a bit.
Famously red-green colorblind and shows a hell of a profession.
Dip it up toward yellow a little more on the hue. Yeah, right there-ish, I think is nice.
Lovely. I'm very good at finding shade.
Let me look at the reference. Hang on. And then I'm going to ask, did you set it to animate yet, or?
I have not done anything yet.
Okay, because have you thought? Well, before I just tell you, have you thought about how you're going to animate it?
It's going to be a very complicated procedure that is something like setting a scale keyframe that's like that, and another scale keyframe that's like this, and then a scale keyframe that is like that. So that was my plan.
Wait a minute. When you did that, hang on.
So I just kind of figured that if I did that, then I would have this little thing that goes like this.
No. See, that's great. I'm curious why it works so well in 3D. Why it looks so. Is that your actual scale of your pre-comp, your collapse pre-comp, or is that?
This is my collapse. Like this is literally the cube. Like the cube is getting squished.
How does that work
and
so
then
well? I was gonna be like, hey, you could essential graphics the thing and create some controls for inside and blah 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 blah. But of course, you don't need to. You can literally just scale it.
Of course. And I mean, we learned last time that all you have to do is add optical glow to anything like this and turn down the amount, but maybe I might size it up, give some bloom here.
Probably
and
50 or 100, man.
Already, let's see. Oh, I forgot. One of the things about collapse transformation kind of things is you should probably name them well. So Control K for composition settings. We'll call this the door 3D. And in here, I'm going to enable the motion blur switches because this is what gets fed into this. So now if this motion blur is enabled, which normally it would have been automatically enabled had I done this at the same time, but there, that'll automatically enable it in a way. The motion blur version of this. Zoom.
Okay, it does bother me. Let's go look at the original real quick. I want to see.
A good idea. My policy is to never look back. Look back at the source.
That's usually mine too, but it's such a simple effect. I want to be a perfectionist, and I'm concerned that the texture. So does
the texture not supposed to grow with it?
Texture doesn't move.
Okay, so in that case, what we want is I have a very stupid idea.
I love it.
I'm gonna do it. Okay, watch this. See where my mouse is here. I'm gonna grab my door.
No, I can't.
So I'm gonna grab this door 3D, its timeline, and I'm gonna click and drag it right over here. This blows some people's minds that you can see two timelines at once, kind of like the show Loki. And you can. That was good, everyone.
That was an example of a good joke.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm curious if on like this front door texture, if I applied the transform property, I don't remember what happens. If I'm not uniform scaling and I scale up the height, it extends it, right? What was I thinking of that would keep it within? So if I scale the height up, and that scales up, and then I added a set matte effect that was just its own self, that will cut it off, right? Lovely. Mm-hmm. Okay. What I've just done is I've made it so if I scale up the height of this card using a transform effect, which is something that Michael used last week, but then add a set matte effect right to it afterward, it'll default to its own original alpha, but look, the scale stays here. And in the interest of not working harder to like make these all animate and stuff like that, I'm going to go to reveal the Y scale of all these. And I'm going to say, actually, no, I don't mean to reveal that. I'm going to twirl open this transform effect here. And I'm going to link the scale, the Y scale of this to the height texture scale like this. Alt click on this scale height of the texture side, and I'm going to pick whip that to the Y scale of the pre-comp. And when I do that, it'll just say 100. But if I come over here to edit this expression a bit, exactly. So we've got, I never really need these columns. I'm just going to hide all these. So here, this is the exact Y scale from over there. One of the simple ways to keep your expressions keeping you sane is you can do something like, say, Y equals that whole value, and then have a little semicolon. And then after that, I'm going to say, this is going to be whatever the height is, minus, let's see, is it minus that? Yeah, minus Y. Because what happens is as this scales down, it becomes, no, that's not what I want to do. I swear I had an idea where if this scaled up, the
And then
texture scales opposite of it.
And so
wait, so let me, so what's the math that I want it to do? I want it to have it be minus y, but times its own value.
You do 0 minus, or people out there, come on, why mathematicians aren't you screaming at us? Stu, yell at us.
Okay, what did I want? I want this minus 100 minus y, but times like 3. So if I scale this up, or if I scale this down, the texture is scaling up on that one. Is it? Let me see.
If it scales to 50, you want it to go to 150. So you should probably do, you can just do plus. Not plus. Hang on.
Or how about this? Let's see. I know. Let's just use an interpolation expression.
20, you know, another way we could do this. I'm already thinking of like, okay, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to go to interpolation. And I'm going to say this version, the linear version. So this number is going to be this number. What an interpolation expression does is it'll say something like linear as a mode of interpolation, and then it'll say what value do you want to know if that value came in somewhere between, let's say, 0 and 100, what would you want the output to be? I would want the output on this thing to actually be, when it's down at 0, I'd like this to be 300 tall. And when it's down at 0, that. And at 100, I want this to be at 100.
Why on 3s? I'm curious.
Because when I was stretching it out, it just really felt like it
felt like a 300.
It felt like it, yeah. So watch this as I scale this down now. Yeah, the math actually wouldn't be a straight linear expression like this, but I like it. So I'm going to try applying these two effects to all of these and seeing what happens. Really, it only matters for the sides, but or for the front, back, and the two sides. And I'm hoping you just can't see the other side. Let me see what happens. I'm going to close this window and let's look in here and see what we have. Now we have, wait, what did I do?
You put it
that opens.
You were showing off the expression.
Oh yeah, I was showing off the expression. This should be a 100 here.
Nope.
Why did I?
When it opens up, you have it.
Yeah, I really was playing with the thing here, wasn't I?
I'm sorry I threw us off by being a perfectionist, which is not my normal MO.
Why am I I should have started.
All right, well, Hashi figures this out. Let's see how my thing's going. I have, I think, roto'd me jumping through the portal like an idiot. Let's see.
I'm excited for these. Are these clips available to me yet, Seth?
The clips are available. I am rotoing. The roto I'm working on right now. Oh, there's a little bit of something right there. It gets a little bit of ET there. I'll have to fix that.
Love it.
So, let's see. So now we have the choice to either.
Oh, you're doing a cool leap. That's lovely.
Yeah, it's more fun on the roto, right?
Plates. All right. I'm going to import your plates in the meantime. What time are we at? 10:40 already.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking this time.
We did. The time. All right. At least based on these plates, I can start setting up where that door is going to be. So I'm going to start playing with that on my end.
What do you think is more interesting to watch? Me rotoing or what you're doing? Probably what you're doing.
Hard to say, but I could go with either.
It's hard to
say. Let me know if I'm up.
We picked a bad effect for this episode.
Your plates are even 4K.
Sorry, man, on my phone. I didn't even pay attention to what I was shooting on. Oh, shoot. Nope, don't do that.
Classic. Okay.
Classic Whirly, always shooting in extremely high resolution.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to throw back to me anytime you would like, and I will.
I think I should.
I got enough going on here.
All right.
Okay, so
Stu Mashwitz asked why I have an ET room, and I think it's important that the audience know. I just moved into a new house.
Like you do.
Like you do. One house. I only own one at a time. It's a code I live by. I live one house at a time. For financial reasons. I can only. I just don't want people to think that because I have a life-size ET that I'm extraordinarily wealthy and successful. The trick is when you're going to buy furniture for a new house and you're budgeting for that, and
always fun.
You find a little space in between some items that no one's paying attention to, like, a chair or a kitchen island or something, and you just put an ET there. And I can later on, and maybe in the description or something, I can share the link to what this ET is. But I worked it into our furniture budget, and my wife only found out when an ET arrived one day with our furniture. So that is why, Stu, I have an ET.
You dragged me into this by texting me that you were thinking about buying it.
I did. I said, this is worth it, right? And
I said, yes.
And I bought it before you even answered. Oh, this is exciting. Look at that door.
Times.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, so that door is going to open up kind of like that. Something. Wait, what did I do? What did I do?
What did you do?
Undo. All right. What I'm concerned about is I can't tell if I'm seeing all the depth of my door right now.
All the depth of my door.
Oh, you know why? Because, all right. I'm quickly jumping back into here because I'd soloed that. There we go. All right. So now I've got my door in here. I'm going to rotate it. I'm kind of using the walls there and this column here as my rough guide. I'm not going to match the camera angle or anything like that, or the camera lens stuff or anything like that. I'm just going to guesstimate based on this. So yeah, that I feel like it feels like you're under the door and it opens up and then there he is. We've got our classic problem of bright background, bright thing getting composited onto it.
Oh,
and generally the
cheat
for that, and that's all good.
Well, you can just core mat it in Supercomp, or are you gonna do it now? You know what? Hang on. Let me go ahead and tell you what to do while you're doing it. Okay.
Yes.
What I would do, I would duplicate my door comp, and because I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to do it for. Well, I may not. Basically I would decide right now. Am I going to do all this stuff in Supercomp, or am I going to try to do some of it here? And without Supercomp, I would duplicate it and at least once, and use that duplicate. I make it an adjustment layer and use it to blur the area behind it. And then I would duplicate it again if I wanted to use it to create a core mat by making it a solid or adding a fill to it, and etc. Now tell the people what you're going to do.
So I'm going to do something similar to what Seth said. So I have one. I'm going to press F4 to reveal my the mode of all of these. This top layer is a screen transparency. I had forgotten earlier in Optical Glow to switch the alpha channel mode to extend by unmulting. I had it under, I think, maybe none or something before. But I have this version, which is screening. And then I have this version, which is the normal mode. The normal mode means the darkness of that metal sheet from the other comp is coming in. But when I screen on top of that, especially with the Optical Glow, I get kind of a neat combination where you have a bit of edge glow and some things like that. And I haven't thrown any of these into Supercomp yet where I could do even more. So for example, I can use the, you know what? Let's see, what else are we going to need? I'm going to need a foreground Seth, right? That's about it. All right. So I'm going to duplicate I did a little pre-comp just to shrink down these 4K plates to HD. And I'm going to call one the Loki plate clean and one the Loki plate Seth. And the Seth one will reveal the whirly layer on top. Let's kill that sound. And then in the clean one, I'm going to just reveal the all right, what? All right, there we go. Just clean on this one and just Seth on this one. All right, now I'll bring in my Loki. Oh, my Loki plate.
Look out.
I am your father. Just in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that thing, I'm just going to run an extract on these bright backgrounds here, like that. So I can just see this is a fake ref key that is showing me just Seth right here. Yeah. Okay, now that I have my basic 4 layers, which is basically Seth, the bright door, the holdout door, and the background, they've got their own little animation thing on them, and they're all going to look really cool in Supercomp. Let me dive to the beginning, and I'm going to start looking at that the original reference footage to see what that precursor looks like. Let's see. Let me look at this again. It looks like it's got.
Go back real quick. Pause. I want to show everybody something.
Yeah.
I've been told by where to go. Actually, keep talking. Sorry, I
Sure.
lost what I was looking for.
By quickly jumping back to the actual clip here, I'm just going to make this into a little pre-comp so I can save some spots. So we've got this cool little electric bit that I'll figure out in a moment, but it looks like the door has these cool glowing kind of edges as they move around, and I feel like I'm kind of missing that effect. So I'm going to go to my door texture, and on the actually I'm going to go to my door 3D, and on the very front layer, whichever one was my main door, I think it's this one. Let me check the position. It's at 0. Last week, Michael Zlapsky was playing a lot with the Vegas effect. And the Vegas effect, if I switch this to using the, let's see, not the image contours, but the alpha. Let me see. I'll turn this threshold down to 0. Let me solo this layer and you can see what I'm doing here. Vegas is an effect that is adding these little dancing little yellow dashes right here. I'm going to turn the number of segments down to maybe 5 or 6. Let me hide these for just a moment. And you'll see these little white or these yellow edges right here. I'm going to make them white for now, and I'm going to turn up their width a bit, and their start opacity will be 0. Their mid opacity will be high, just maybe 0.5, and their end opacity is back to 0 again. So what that's done is it's added these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces that I can add a keyframe to here. So as time goes on, these rotate around like a Vegas display light, which is kind of cool. And I think that if I say check random phase while I do this, I'll get some even more organic feel to this. So let's turn the width down a little bit on this front one, and I will add a time-based expression, all clicking on rotation and saying time times, let's say 150 for now. Now, hopefully when I come back to my portal door comp, I've got some kind of glowing white edges. They're actually, I guess they're still more in the yellow realm. So let me dive back to that Vegas effect. And
hey, you know what? I'm going to be the one who does this, but you did all this really cool stuff. You're doing this really cool stuff. Could we also drop Ecto onto the door without doing any of that and see how that looked? It might look all fried and bad, but some people, are in the chat are recommending Saber. Video Copilot's really cool Saber plugin, but that requires a mask or a path having been drawn. Ecto works on that's so fried, but I think
it's
we can
so
hone
cool though.
Ecto works on an image with an alpha channel or video with an alpha channel and automatically traces the layers around it and does all of this.
What does laser whip look like on this? Hey, check that out.
So, we want to change all our sizes of that stuff, but what you were doing was probably the coolest because I think this is going to.
But the glow that we get from this is way cooler than where I was getting with my optical glow, which I could turn up more. Right now, Ecto after optical glow is often not
the way you want to go. Here, the thing about this is we want Ecto. It's going to try to draw behind your opaque, your transparent stuff, and you really just want it on the edges. So the trick would be somehow creating another, maybe more
if I added
than it's worth. No, never do. No.
Oh, whoa, that's so cool.
No, it's not.
Ecto just makes things look really interesting.
Yeah.
Which is it's really worth playing with for doing stuff. I think I'm going to push this the rest of the way with optical glow.
Harry Frank pointed out that the wall in Loki, in that scene from Loki, in the reference, so this wall back here appears to be, you can create that wall texture in trapcode form with the quarter round particle. If we really wanted to, but we're not going to do that part right now. But just wanted to share that was a very fun little fact that Harry found.
I love it, Harry. Thank you.
By the way, I have it from. Let's see.
You have some roto for me potentially?
No, I have some. Oh, never mind. I had some interesting. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
In the meantime, over here, I'm going to let's see, what have we got here? So we have pre-collapsed 3D bits. Let me see, will that work properly with Supercomp the way I have it arranged, or will they not? Do I need them like that? I don't remember.
So my roto is freezing now. It's freezing, as we can see.
Ooh, freezing the roto. All right.
Here it's going through and freezing.
I'm going to select my 4 layers right now, and I'm going to add Supercomp to them, so I can start seeing something prettier than what I got going on here. Now, Supercomp's a little claustrophobic in the screen share mode, but I think it'll be all right. Was my instinct? Wait. Oh, yeah, I was wrong about that. I'm just going to. All right. I did a little hack where I just copied my camera into this 3D comp here because I forgot I had rotated it around in here and stuff instead of figuring that out first before pre-comping. So in Supercomp, what I've got is I've got my background plate, and then I can display Supercomp. Actually, so we've got the background plate, and then we can add in this 3D door layer. Oh, why aren't you aligned? What did I do, Seth?
You brought in your camera, right?
I thought I did. Oh, did I tell it to look through the camera?
You're collapsed in some of those, and so it's going to revert.
I'm collapsed in that one. I have a camera in there. Oh wait, that meant I could undo this, right? But why is that?
Wait, so let me ask, why are you doing what you're doing? I've been lost.
Oh, I remember what I was trying to do.
Do you want to back up? Is it?
Yeah.
That wasn't like a passive aggressive. That was like.
No. What I did is I did a classic blunder of I pre-collapsed this 3D door probably while it was either rotated or I rotated the camera around it in a situation where I shouldn't have done that.
And you did that because you're trying to get that outline still?
Basically, I just wanted the one 3D interactivity to this door in here, but I don't remember when I pre-composed it, if I had already tried rotating it or something like that, because I'm losing my...
Well, I'm asking if you're doing this now because... Oh, it's because you want to be able... I see.
I think I rotated the door into position instead of that. I can just move this camera, right? And then there we go.
All right.
That was a lot of fuss for nothing. In Supercomp, I can go to, I'm going to add some blur behind, and I'm going to crank that up a lot. Now, what that's doing, you can sort of see a preview over here. Is I'm blurring up that here. Let's see.
Because it gets real blurred.
It's like frosted glassy. All right. Oh, and I need to turn on my Supercomp layer to be able to preview this. Okay. So right now the very back wall isn't clear, so maybe I need two copies of the door. Let's create 2 copies of the 3D door, and in this version, I'm going to find my back wall, which is I think this one, and I'm just going to go. I'm going to go to the curves, the alpha curves, and just see if I boost that all the way up. Now I'm basically undoing the work.
Just to be done.
Oh, I could have dragged the...
Yeah, you can drag that right there and pull it up. There you go.
Lovely. That's what I should have done, folks.
And make sure you name that dupe.
I'm going to name that dupe.
It's time for name that dupe.
With back. All right. Okay, so that's in here now, and we're blurring the background behind. But what do I want to do? Should I have this as an additive thing and blurring the background behind?
You know what you could do. No, don't not.
I feel like this might be closer, and then I can also spread the chroma.
No, Hash. Here's what you do. Hash, I got it.
Yes.
Don't do it in Supercomp. Not yet. In your comp, your dupe for your blurs, can you use it as it's a little crazy, use it as a matte and duplicate your plate and do your blur with set matte. You get where I'm going with this?
All right, so let's use this as an alpha matte. So now we have...
Don't do alpha matte. It won't. Supercomp won't read it, I don't think.
Oh, yes, you're right.
So
okay,
you want to add set matte, which you showed me.
Set matte, and now I want to select this door with its effects and masks, and maybe.
And then we add a blur to that layer.
All right. And the blur would be beforehand, right?
Probably, yeah, I think it would be.
Let's just go with a fast box blur, because,
Well, actually, dude, I think it's more
camera lens.
I think it's more of a chromatic blur. So, what do we have? And I know we have a ton of that. Is it chromatic aberration, chromatic? I
kind of like I like this one a lot. Yeah. Now I'm going to turn up the Gaussian blur. Is it Gaussian or Gaussian?
Well, I've always said Gaussian, but Gaussian sounds pretty damn fancy.
Gaussian.
The Gaussian blur. If you call it Gaussian blur, make sure you're ready for the Gaussian blur.
Let's turn the blur.
This thing is still freezing.
Still freezing. It takes a long time to freeze things. See, I don't really want much distortion. I don't think there's a lot of distortion, but I like the separation that I'm getting. The blur around there and the lens edge fall off. There, radial blur turned down. Wait, what? Where's, oh yeah, that's what I meant to do. Let's do that, and now I can tile this down.
Put that above the set matte too, remember?
Yes. What is giving me my blur amount? Now I turn this down, right? Oh yeah, that's what I meant to do. So the lens radius is tiny like that. The Gaussian blur level is medium-y, and it goes above my set matte effect. So, oops. So now I have this thing blurred within here. Let me move the center of this thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just up and off of that. All right, so what we've just done is we took a copy of the original plate here, and we applied this chromatic aberration blur to it, and then a set matte effect, which match it to just within the door.
Turn off that dupe layer.
And then, yeah, we don't need this anymore. And let's see, oh yeah, I'm soloed. So let me unsolo that. And then back in here, what we want to do is we're going to get rid of this layer.
Supercomp's
we're going to bring in
Hash.
this layer. There we go. Okay, so now we have the background, the blur, and then I'll put the glowing door in front of it. Yeah, and now under here, I could do some color correction. I could do something like try to start bringing this down a bit.
Oh, try this. Let me see what happened. It's actually going to look bad, but you could put it on top of, temporarily on top of your door, and then do auto color correct and see what it did, and then put it back
that's under. That's a good idea, especially for the color impaired. What this is going to do is it's going to try to match its levels based on what's behind it. So I'll say match background. That tinted it nicely like this. And now let me bring this down back behind it. And I still want it darker.
Yeah, I want it darker.
Still want it darker.
Turn it down a bit. Oh, now we get to do our core matte this way too. We'll probably want to blur the edges of it a little bit, or at least like blur the alpha of it somehow, or you can do it like that, yeah.
Try edge blend. Let me see what that looks like on a weird shape like this. That's kind of cool. Now, why would my door 3D not be lined up with this door plate?
Did chromatic blur offset it somehow by accident, or
let me check that.
Or if
no, that didn't. The set matte didn't. Maybe should it just be source? Why am I getting that? Let me see. This is over to the left a little bit. Did I accidentally move anything? I didn't think I could have. The door with the back is exactly the same as this.
Oh, it's the door from the back is actually going to be smaller than the door in the front, and so nope. I think it might be that I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe.
Let's see. My fix for it right now is to. I don't remember why I have that mask on there.
Check your position settings on both of them.
Let's see, they're both good. Can't I turn that on? Let's do that. Whatever. I don't remember what I did there, why they're off a little bit, because it should be like this, is what I think. And then let's see if they're what happens with their keyframes.
My freeze is taking its sweet time. It is at 94%.
All right, we're an hour in.
So Michael pointed out there's a chromatic displacement option in Supercomp when you set a layer as a displacement layer, but that's a displacement and not a. We were looking just for a blur and not for displacement in this case.
Yes. Now, I'm just gonna pause right here. I think I've done some wacky. When I lost my 3D transformations in here, these scales went back to 2D, and so they're doing something very weird to the door. So this is so exciting, everybody, isn't it? I'm going to delete those doors again, and I want to bring them back in as 3D. I'm restarting. Okay, so if you had your plate and no Supercomp, see, this has a bunch of oh, I shouldn't have deleted that.
While you do this, if you're just tuning in, you're late. But we're going over the TVA doors from the Disney Plus series Loki, which go a little like this and a little like that.
All right. I'm just going to call this try 2. I'm just going to start over real quick. Okay, we've got our background. We've got our Seth ground. And we have this fun little door that we built in 3D. So if I bring this in, I'm going to delete this camera, and I'm also going to delete all of these expressions. I'm just going to ignore them for now. It was too far anyway. All right. So I've got my door 3D. I'm going to add a camera to this comp. Okay. Now door 3D. So I guess the whole thing should have been active camera, reset, default camera, and let's go to try 2. Okay, there we go. I'm going to make this door a collapsed 3D. It's those textures that I was doing a while ago.
Oh.
They're kind of unnecessary, and I should have actually just deleted them. I think I disabled them there, and they're probably still active in here, right?
Well, yeah, if you duped them, they came back. They came back. All right, my freeze is done. I'm going to export. I was going to do some
thank you.
edge refinement for you, but it's not worth it at this point. I'm just going to.
It's not. All right. So Seth ground, our background, this door, which we're going to add some keyframes to. We're going to say right around like here in the middle is when it gets to all the way open at 100, 100, 100. And just slightly before that, we want the Y to really shrink down to somewhere in this realm. And then a few keyframes back, we want the X to 0 out and maybe the Y to 0 out too. And then I'm going to F9 all of those. So there's a little bit of a shoop. All right, let's stretch those out, select them all, hold down Alt and drag out the keyframes like that. And let's play this back. Zoop. And the dazzling edges, let me slow those down a little bit. Door 3D, which one has the Vegas? Vegas is rotating at 150. Let's change that to 50. I'm editing the expression on that little glowy edge that sort of dances around here. And in fact, I'm going to make that glowing edge a little bit bigger. So let's go to door 3D.
And you're going to glow it in Supercomp.
Exactly. So it's going to get glowed even more. So if I make the width a little bit bigger and the midpoint opacity a little bit brighter, then it'll push it more into the really bloomed out section of this door. So let's go to try 2 again. And now we have a little preview, just a couple of scale keyframes, and we have this golden door and dancing Seth. Now you've frozen that and you've saved that After Effects project somewhere I can grab it?
Nope. I am rendering out the roto file as a
cool
lossless with alpha channel. Although I probably should have done like a TIFF sequence, shouldn't I?
That would be ideal, but in the meantime, I'm just going to do my temp thing again, which is to extract on Seth's plate. Let's cut out all the bright stuff because you're wearing pretty dark clothing here. Let's add a little mat around you like that. Feather that out for the moment. And then on the door, we're going to leave that where it is. And we're going to duplicate a copy of the background. And we're going to also duplicate the door. This door, we're going to replace with this 3D door with back that we've also built. That just fills in this with a solid effect. And the reason we did that is so if I solo this, I can take a clean plate of the background and apply the channel set matte effect and select this door with a back as an alpha. And then above the set matte effect, I can add this, let's see, what is it under? Is it stylized?
I tell you what, I did just save that AE project in a project folder. If you'd rather just open up, your computer might render this roto faster than mine is.
Sure. I'm applying some chromatic aberration. I'm moving the center way up off screen, turning off the radial blur, but turning up the Gaussian blur and dialing up the chromatic. Let's see. That said chromatic saturation the whole time, right? It didn't actually say separation because that's the whole.
So are you colorblind to words about color too? That's incredible.
Yes.
This is brand new information.
Turn up the scale of that and the Some blues, a little bit. I just
Hashi,
want to feel something
what
chromatic.
color is this?
What color is what, Seth?
Oh, you can't see me.
I'll see you in 20 seconds. I'll tell you then.
So yeah.
Stay tuned. This is so exciting. All right. I really thought I was going to disintegrate a person today.
What color is this? Look at your zoom.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, I forgot. I hid you on Zoom, Seth.
I was like, is it really working? Oh my God.
That color is.
I put it away. The joke's done. I tried to bring the joke back. It wasn't funny the first time. It was funny the second time, but it won't be funny a third time.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. It was funny every time. Actually, fun little fact, we have a short film called Form 17 on our YouTube channel that you can watch that we made back in like 1976 or something. And the title came from, we landed on the number 17 because of one of us had heard a David Letterman quote that said, a joke is only funny the first 2 times and not again until the 17th time. And Aaron Rabinowitz pointed out that he had previously recommended Form 16, which we all found very funny. Back to you, Hush, and actual work and productive things.
All right. So try 2 on this. We're going to use VFX Supercomp, adding all of these little pieces together here. And then I'm going to open up this panel right here. It's a little bit hidden. And we're just going to go through some of the stages we did before. So we've got our clean plate that is getting distorted like this. Let me double check if I did those in the right order. So I've got my chromatic aberration before the set matte effect, which is good. And then I'm going to add, I'm just going to manually do this, even though I'm color blind, I can still have some fun with it. We'll kind of darken this thing and tint it a little bit like that.
Nice.
And then I'll add this door here with the additive mode. And we'll add, let's see if any of our presets, what they look like for this. So we've got a bunch of different types of glows. How about a big glow? Big glow looks kind of cool. And I think that this actually might benefit from some radial optical glow.
It would definitely.
So let's try dialing up the radiate on this and see if that spreads out the burn a little bit.
I would. Sorry, I'd turn down the glow a little bit, or maybe make it bigger or something. It feels.
It's a little hot.
A little scorched. A little ad blendy for me.
I love that you're an evangelist for the ad blending.
For screen blend, for anti-ad. I freaking hate ad.
All right, so
the best way to see someone who's new to After Effects is if they've used ad blend on everything.
Everything.
Oh.
Add a little bit of layer glow under this.
Wealth.
Do you like that, Seth?
Yeah. Right, oh, so good. Yeah. No.
Let me turn that.
I hate it.
For the record. Get in there. Okay. I'm adding a layer glow so I can just have a small little glow like that. And
what's
the optical
your
glow
vibrance on, by the way?
Let's see. What is my glow vibrance on? The original glow's vibrance is at 0.
What happens if we crank that up?
Crank that up. This is at 100, so we're getting a little bit more of the color in there.
Maybe too much. We can turn it back off. I was dumb.
Yeah. Let's turn this back down. I'll turn that to 1%. And then here in my color correction, I'm just going to try. No, I don't really want that. I want the brights down. I know what I want it to look like. All right, if we were somewhere in this realm, what does this look like when animated? That appears and that does that. Okay, so
pretty cool.
This is like mildly respectable thing. And if I were to go ahead and import,
I have a question about it though. Well, you keep.
Let me know your question.
What'd you
Seth or
import?
Son.
The roto file? Okay, yeah, because it's still rendering that TIFF sequence slowly. So let's see how fast.
All right, so let me see if I did you roto it at 4K?
Shit. Yeah, oops, sorry. Yeah, I did. And I said the S word.
Ooh. All right. I'm just gonna make a little. I don't know if that'll help me. Okay, so try 2. Let's replace this Loki plate with this Loki plate, and now I should have a. If I turn them on, Seth, can I turn you on? Not even gonna respond to that.
Where am I? Sorry. It took me a second.
Okay.
You turned me.
It's all good. Okay,
off.
so we've got our lovely extracted Seth right here. So I'm going to just go ahead and that's you. I'm going to throw a matte choker on here, and I'm also going to throw on.
Look at that can't be me. Is that me, roto'd?
That's you, roto'd. Let me try you at full. Let me see.
I don't buy that. Solo that for me, so I see it.
So there's you. Let me see how much the matte choker's bringing back.
Oh, this is the one you extracted. I see.
No, this is you.
Oh,
this is that's roto from Seth.
Oh,
the matte choker is not doing it any favors, but I was thinking that if I extracted just that top level white, it would at least get rid of some of this stuff like that, because your values don't even start really coming in until around here, aside from that Adidas shirt, maybe. We're good. All right, so I'm using extract to try to enhance the edge of Seth. And I'm just going to turn up the simplicity of this, choke it in a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to mess with it in Supercomp a bit and see what happens if we jump into Supercomp and add something like a hazy integration to you. Integration, one of my favorite. They're a foggy integration. Oh, now you're in it.
Yeah, we
highlight
still
wrap.
Want some. Yeah, there you go.
So highlight wrap, and I might even dial this up a little bit. We're adding some light wrap to Seth from the background. I'm going to add a second light wrap also. Right. Let me see what does that look like. That's kind of fun. Highlights only.
Oh, so it's 120. Do you want to get to that min-max stuff?
Yeah, let's do that. So right around, let's look at the spot where Seth should appear here. Now, let's see, just soloing, let's just solo the plate for a second here. So actually, that's not even really the plate with you. So let me put in a duplicate. All right, so just for us to look at the plate, it feels like you should appear around here. Maybe like your foot comes through first and then more of your body appears. So right around here.
Yeah, foot first. I didn't make this easy, honest, did I?
And you know what? Let's see. So I'm going to go to this whirly plate here. And there are a couple things that we could do. A traditional way to do something like this is if you have a matte choker effect, is you could do something like dial up the number of iterations a bunch. And that will eat you away from the outsides, as opposed to the things that eat at you from the inside. So I had also discovered this other effect, and I can't remember. I think, yeah, channel Minimax does this very interesting thing where if I switch this to minimum and alpha and color channels and dial up the radius, I think what it does is it does a similar, like, eats you away. It's a little blocky though, so maybe, you know what, we might have been getting a better result with set matte. I just loved that this was a 0 to 100 dial to get rid of you like that.
You could use it as a I'm trying to think of what you could do here. You could use it as a never mind.
So here's
mess with those edges. It was like that plus roughen edges was what you were going to do, right? Something like no.
So let's just animate the matte choker, and just for the most basic version of this effect is that you're all the way through the door, probably by here, right? Yes. Yeah. And you're just barely coming through the door right here. So I'm going to add, we already have this square mask here. So I'm going to, oh, it even has some feather on it already. All right, let's animate a keyframe for this mask path. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to reduce it down like this. So it's just kind of showing mostly this front leg. All right. It's a lousy job. Like it's just, very feathery, very not visible. But then as these frames open up, it'll look like more and more of you are appearing.
You probably want two sources though. You want my arm too, right? Because you don't want it to look like I came in elbow feet first.
Yes, this is one of those situations where I'm kind of curious if I were back here in your original see look plate here, and I just grabbed from here to here and made a little movie that was I'm just going to kick that out to media encoder. That's going to be a little alpha
channel. Hey, buddy, good news. You may already have those TIFFs. I've got...
Oh.
Yeah, you have all those TIFFs all the way up until frame 155.
Okay, great. So that should be Roto. Look at that.
For the record, see, I've been over here trying to render my frozen Roto render, and it's almost there, but...
Oh, I defaulted to 30. I thought I almost fixed that. All right. I'm going to interpret my footage back to, was this 23?
I'm gonna real quick while you do this, I'm gonna wrap for the audience. Like I'm gonna make us a list. Like here's the things we have to do. For this we have to have.
That sounds lovely.
We need a version of me that's behind the door, that's blurry, and that we get a quick like opacity fade up. It needs to stay on while the new me comes through, and then be gone once the new me lands. Then we need the new me, just the matte, the alpha, with like the revealing new me with an expanded matte choke. And then we need the glowy outline around that matte choke, which that could actually be done with Ecto if we wanted to.
That's delightful. Look how much we learn.
Speaking of learning, it is 1:24. We should consider making this a 2-hour show, but
we should consider that. All right. Try to log in here.
I believe the title of this episode is going to be "Durr," based on the number of people who responded to my red joke.
So lovely.
As we kind of come toward the end, and we're going to wrap this up for all of you, but Michael, if you could bring in, if you could let me know what we have learned this week. So wrapping that up soon. I could have just said that to you in Slack, but I said it live in front of everyone, like a real jerk.
Beautiful. I'm actually just quickly. I'm jumping over to Runway ML because I have. Where did I export you to? It's a really good question. Let me ask After Effects where
Can you just upload the plate?
I could, but that will be here all day at that size. So where did I say I was going to put it? I put it in our media folder. VFX and chill media folder. Or did media encoder do it? Where to put okay, put it right there. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm let me jump over to this and upload I said upload folder, upload file. Let's upload the where'd you go? Media. All right, let's upload this look plate for you. That should go pretty quick. And then I'm going to go to the home quick actions and then down to estimate depth. And now I'm going to say video. Let's see. Where are how do I do it? Quick action, browse. for the look plate. And let's try previewing the output here. It's going to think for a second.
Well, I think a lot of people are very curious in the chat about Supercomp. If you are very curious about Supercomp, there's links in the chat for getting started with it. But you should also absolutely check out. If that's not the tutorial I'm thinking of, then look for Stu Mashowitz's super mega tutorial. That actually might be the right link. He did a really great tutorial walking through what Supercomp is and how it works and why you will love it.
Excellent. All right. So I've just told the AI to try to estimate the depth from that clip. And what I could also probably do is just to show people again from last week, this green screen thing, the way it works is you basically add a plate like this. And then I would go to something. Let me just go to this end frame where you're over here. And I'm going to say include Seth. And like, see, not perfect. Like it's missing your fingers a little bit there. So I'm going to tell it I want the fingers in there. And it added a bit of this little rock thing back here, rock wall. So I'm going to press minus there. And then from there, I'm going to tell it to try to preview the keying out Seth in this. And so a little bit like Rotobrush 2, see, it's trying. Like it's not bad. It's missed your hands and a couple of the quick little bits like that. It's missed your background hand there, but pretty nifty. So now if I go back to my assets, let me see if this one happens to have made any progress. It's still in progress for a short clip. That's the fun of cloud computing. Anyway, where do we end up?
Well,
we had some interesting progress that was supposed to be let's see, how far did we get? I wanted to add a number of keyframes to a keyframe to the iterations on the matte choker, so I also choked out this thing. So right now I have an animated mask that gets bigger around your leg kind of as it comes in, as the matte choker is releasing itself. Let's see, that's very fast. Let's dial this in. So this one we want to be slower, and this one we want to be more. Oh, maybe the feather is messing with us too, forcing it to kind of a square shape.
Come on, feather. I meanwhile am simultaneously doing what you're doing because I got bored and curious about.
No, that's perfect. This is a learning experience. Let's see. So yeah, this is not go my way today.
You calling it?
I feel like I want to call it on this because there was a definite right way to do this, and I did not do that way.
Oh,
but that's okay, and that can happen. And let me see what the machine came up with. Machine did all right. It's a little there's some temporal variance that would probably hurt us a bit, but just out of curiosity, let me download this thing. Now, one of the things about Runway is that it's a subscription-based service. I don't have a subscription. I have a free version, as it were. But it's something that I'm very, very curious to look into. I'm going to import that depth matte, which is a lower res file, but it almost doesn't matter for a depth matte. And then I'm going to get rid of this mask, get rid of this matte choker, just get back to plain old Seth. I'm going to drop in my depth matte here, and let me just put it on top because I don't remember exactly where I started this depth matte out. Let's see. Let me turn this down. What I could probably look it up. Where did I exported it from frame 15 on. So let me go to here and line this with frame 15. Great. So now we have this kind of blurred depth matte, like lower quality depth matte over Seth. I think it's off by a frame. There we go.
Oh, it's what did you change the frame rate to? Because I did not shoot.
20 at 24, it looks like it matches up with you pretty well.
It does? Okay, I don't remember shooting at 24. Maybe I did.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the depth matte, and I'm then going to go to the Seth thing. I'm just going to call it Seth so it's a little bit easier. So Seth is right here, and I'm going to use the set matte effect. And I'm going to use this depth matte. Seth matte. I'm going to use its effects and masks, and I'm going to use its luminance. So what's happening is it's using the depth matte exactly as it looks when it came in, which is like this. And that's not going to be helpful for me. So I'm going to, you could either use curves or levels or whatever, but I'm always a fan of a legacy brightness and contrast. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be dialing up the contrast of this depth matte, and I'm going to be trying to dial down the brightness so I can get more detail out of it like this. So that, see that? It's kind of cool. And since Seth's layer is using the effects and presets version of this, if I dive in here, I can probably try finding a high contrast and like, look at this.
Hey,
here. See?
That's awesome.
So this is a kind of wild.
I say
and
up
in fact,
contrast more though.
Yeah, I'm going to add some just a fast blur to this thing because it's just so it gets rid of a little bit of that stepping. But you can kind of see that it's guessing like his knee is coming forward. The contrast could be way up. The brightness could be way down. There we go.
There we go.
Look at this. Okay.
Real quick. So we needed to now we have this. This is awesome. We need glowy edges, and then we need me behind the door or in the door.
All right. Glowy edges. Okay. So what's going on here?
Again,
so
you can do Ecto.
So we've got, so the temporal anomalies in the depth matte are giving us some wacky results. So I'm going to keyframe through these. They're probably right on every frame, but their overall level is off. And last time, look at that. Look how fun that is. So it would be something like,
Hashi, are you good to go to 2? We can just go to 2 and then.
I am good to go to 2. If you guys want to stick around, guys and gals want to stick around, let's finish this.
Yeah, we're going to 2.
So, all right, I'm going to duplicate Seth here, and I'm going to, it doesn't matter where I put you. I can bring in another copy of Seth into Supercomp, where I'm going to drag it down behind my door 3D comp.
I'm going to go and show everybody the reference here real quick so we can see. Someone just walked into my office. We're going till 2, FYI, whoever just walked into my office.
So I'm going to delete the set matte effect from Seth. And I don't think the extract effect is going to matter much.
It's kind of brief like moment where there's somebody, or we see Loki back there.
All right, let me try to
fades up a little bit.
Pretty sure. Where do I have the stream there? Okay, wait. So yeah, he's kind of dark blurred out version. So what we need here is a low contrasty, and I'm using fast box blur, even though you could always go with something more exciting. I turned down the contrast on you, and
Smart.
I'm going to turn up a
yeah, there we go.
So yeah, so what we're getting now, everybody, is this version of Seth right here that has that virtual depth matte applied to it. So look, right beforehand, you can't see much, but as pieces of him start to come through, you see the remnant of the darkened and blurred version of Seth and the depth matte coming through like this. Now, by here, I'm actually just going to add an opacity keyframe on blurred
Yeah, and
Seth
that's a little trick
to knock it out.
If you do an opacity if you do opacity on your layer in the After Effects timeline, Supercomp will ignore it, and a lot of people don't know that. So you want to go over here and click the little timer next to the opacity on the layer in Supercomp, and we can keyframe it there.
Exactly.
Look at that, and it's really only there for like 3 frames maybe. So
it really is. So let me see if
I say once that that door is cleared.
Yeah, on Seth 2, I can also add a, let's see, matte. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try adding a set matte on this layer too, as the that door with the back.
Oh, that's fine.
Wait,
source and masks, or source and effects, effects and masks.
Oh wait, that's the depth. That's the depth of view coming out a little bit ahead.
Oh yeah.
So let me grab all of these layers, the depth, the 2 Seths, and move them. Oh, actually, I could just use the door keyframes too. Wait, now I'm going to move all the Seths. I'm grabbing all the Seths and the depths, and I'm putting them back a frame.
Seths and the depths and moving them.
And then on the Seth, the dark one here, I'm also going to, let's see, I'll turn down its opacity to 0, and then, I forgot that that value can be negative. Let me just turn that to 0, this up to maybe somewhere around.
I'm coming for you from across time.
All right, so
Seth matte across time.
Where are the
and space?
All right.
Yeah.
So broadly speaking, I love that. Let me turn off my sound. I don't know if my sound's even going through to you.
I'm hearing it.
Let's add.
Oh wait, not After Effects.
Sorry. Just for the heck of it, because I kind of want to rap with this effect. This is.
You're gonna rap with this effect.
I want to.
Boom cha.
Lay
boom,
down
boom,
some.
Cha, boom cha.
My
boom,
name
boom,
is
cha.
Hashi,
Why
and
aren't
I
you
am
rapping?
here
there
to
you
say.
are rapping. Boom cha. Boom cha. What? That was boom cha. What?
Let's see what.
Seth Matt
what's a
rat.
fun?
Seth Matt rat.
Ooh, those are some.
The show is becoming just Seth whispers things while Hashi does After Effects work.
Let's do the classic. Just go peek at a bunch of.
I just got a Slack message. How much do you want to bet? It's Michael saying, "No more rapping. Do not rap going forward." Oh, don't forget to save. Save, my son. Save.
Save. Oh, is this asterisk making people crazy? All right.
Hey, what are you using to do lens flares there, Hash?
I'm using this light plugin that was made in 1998, named after Jonathan Knoll.
Jonathan Knoll. Knoll Light Factory. Can anyone here in the chat name the first film that this Knoll Light Factory, or the genesis of it, was used? The first digital lens flare. I'm looking at one of you in the chat.
Ooh,
it's on a delay, so I have to wait.
Can name this right. All right. I'm just going to do the cheapest version of this, which is just...
Whoever can name that wins a free job as Chief Creative Officer at Maxon.
Seth's comments are not legally binding.
My comments are extremely legally binding. They're legally restrictive.
All right. So what I've done here is I've just quickly added some Knoll Light Factory with a classic keyframes for the brightness and the scale a bit. I'm having fun with it. I'm just putting them here in the center somewhere. Add some just wonky back and forth kind of keyframe things. Let's go to half resolution, since we're only showing you half res on screen anyway. And
the answer was Mission Impossible, by the way. I finally saw it in the chat from Stu. It was the first digital lens flare, I believe, featured in Mission Impossible. And correct me if I'm wrong, it was the helicopter in the tunnel. Ask Stu more about that. In fact, look up the podcast, Light the Fuse. They did a great interview with Stu where he talked about all the work he did on that. All right. Back to you, Hashi.
All right. I'm just going to preview these few seconds of what we have for this effect. And honestly, I'm gonna say if you wanted to dive in and do better, you certainly could, especially
No, they can't.
non-live in a format. Let's see. Let's play through this, caching some frames. There's going to be some temporal. That's basically like flicker with a depth map that I think I'm not going to like. But see, look, really straightforward, simple center lens flare. This kind of Gaussian
I think that flare would be
Seth.
gone by now, wouldn't it?
The flare should be gone by there. Let's see. What was that? What is that keyframe?
Oh, and we have to do
that's
the glowy
that's a different
edges
thing.
of my Seth map.
Of your interaction. Yeah, let's see. So one way we could do that is we could go to see, this is the Seth. Let's see, this is the Seth in the, let's see, can I spell silhouette? Jean silhouette. Let's go with Seth. Let's go. You know what? It's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm going to add Vegas to this.
Golly,
I'm going
Michael.
to
How
instead
dare
of the
you
image
recommend Vegas
contours,
to all of us?
we're going to use where is it? Instead of intensity, I'm going to use the alpha threshold. And let's just go to a middle keyframe where you're starting to come through. Look at that. Look at it.
There we go.
It draws a line around a thing. I don't need a lot of segments. I just want like one segment that's length is all the way across. Its opacity is high all the way across. And
you might want to do, can you do this outline
I
as
should
its
look,
own layer so that you can do an optical glow?
yeah, that's a great idea. So let me duplicate this layer and we'll call this the edge. And we could, once we ecto this, then the ecto will finally,
I don't think we'll need
ecto
to.
and Vegas. I don't remember what it looks like. What does it look like? I know I have the thing right here, but why look at your reference when you could just make up stuff? Oh, it's just a little bit of
just a glow.
It's like a milk bath, precog of milk bath.
There's no ecto needed. If we add ecto, it's gonna blow it to hell.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, so the Seth edge should first of all, to preserve the continuity of the Supercomp, I'm going to delete it from that Seth. I'm going to add Seth edge into here, and I'm going to, it's additive already. Perfect. So Vegas, the width is, I'm going to make the width a little bit higher, and I'm actually going to comp it behind the actual Seth. So your hard edge is there and its feathered edge is behind you in a way. I mean, it's not. You can tell what this would have done if we had an amazing depth map. Let me just sample a little yellow color for that. And I'm going to turn down the, see if I have the width higher. Why aren't you obscuring that more, Seth?
I tried.
You know what? Let's just turn
that thickness down, or I'm going to go nuts. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's actually right there. Turn it down a little bit. It's something.
So I would say, to summarize this crazy door effect, I could look back at the thing. I'm sure there are a lot more. I could add a ton more little like Knoll glows that are on top of this, and I mean that's lazy. But the idea is, aside from our temporally flickering depth mat, which again, you could, if you were just looking at your depth mat and you went across it, you would just try to look for some consistency to try to eliminate frames where it suddenly, like right there, it gets too bright. So I basically need to keyframe every bit of it. The other thing you could do is you can try applying something like a auto contrast with a high time width across this. And that might give you some cool results. Let's see, bright, it gets a little darker, brighter. I don't know what happens on that frame. And these should really be stock keyframes, but no contrast, brighter. Okay. Just for fun, I am jumping through and I am trying to manually get this depth matte. And it's funny because you do this with CG renders of depth mattes sometimes too, anyway, because you're, in a way, the contrast values are what give it. Okay, I think that's going to be reasonable. A little bit of flicker, but not too bad. Let's look at what we kind of have here. There are definitely some cool light effects that I should have been able to accomplish.
Well, I should have been finding a way to do that on my end.
See, we're learning. Oh, and also, let's see, your Vegas should be disappearing as you come through. So Seth's edge right here is his width should get keyed down from here to here. It should just disappear.
And by that point, you can get rid of my depth matte me and just replace it with roto me.
Yeah, that's true. You could be... oh, yeah, because you just disappear at the end here because you don't have a matte anymore. All right. Mine, yeah, the Knoll Light Factory is the jankiest bit of this all, but the premise is still good. I think the idea was that you have some kind of a lens flare. You could animate some really cool little things around it, and then oh, watch this. Speaking of lazy, I'm just going to go to my. Let's rename this Knoll level. I'm going to click scale here, and let's see. Let's have this just scale up to this way it doesn't confuse Knoll Factory trying to make the lens flare too bright. I just widen and blur it out.
And blur it out.
And if I turn on the motion blur, that'll be even crazier. All right, let me close the Supercomp window for a second, and we can visually review. What time are we at? 11:49.
I'm going to wrap up things soon. Let's wrap up.
Sounds good. I'll put the preview build in the background here.
Well, let me see.
Wait, where to go? Where are you previewing? Oh yeah, I was trying to preview.
I am real quick just pulling something up. Let's talk about what we learned today.
All right, why did my Knoll disappear?
We learned that our Knoll disappeared. Sometimes Knolls do that. Oh God, what happened?
Why did you disappear, Knoll?
Why? Knoll.
Open the panel again. Did I hide you? Did I say something? All right. So, what did I do? Are you unhappy with me? Full resolution. Oh, it's some weird glitch of my resolution preview. Anyway, go ahead and wrap up, Seth.
Yeah, sorry, I was actually trying to get something going. So, real quick, I want to tell everybody about... Well, first off, let's talk about what all we learned. And we learned quite a lot of things. I'm going to switch over to us while we talk about what we learned. So,
that's good.
We learned about Runway ML for depth mattes. We broke down how Hashi and I would do this Loki scene. Making the door with found textures. That was probably one of my favorite parts. It's kind of like the toothpaste tube. We used up the majority of our time doing these first three things, and then the rest of our time squeezing out every last little bit. In housekeeping, our AE project, so you don't get lost. Making the door in After Effects is 2.5D space. Expressions to get the noise to scale, which kind of worked, kind of didn't. How to trick your spouse into buying an ET. Placing the door into footage with some glows. We learned about Vegas once again. We learned about Ecto a little bit. Learned a lot about Supercomp. It's going to be happening every day. This show is heavily sponsored exclusively by a plugin called Supercomp. Universe Chromatic Aberration for cool background distortion. Redoing the door placement. Redoing Supercomp with a new setup. Matte choking. Minimax we talked about. We ended up not totally using. And we were talking about masking with Roughen Edges. We ended up not going that direction. We ended up using Runway ML for depth mats. And which is fun. It's a nice little story clock, if you will, of our episode that we start with Runway ML and end with Runway ML.
What's the story clock, Seth?
Well, the story clock, that's not the right venue for this, but if you go to plotdevices.co, you can learn all about what a story clock is and how to outline your stories in that way and using a story clock notebook.
Delightful.
Using your brightness contrast to animate the depth, using that depth mat. Talked about Knoll Light Factory. We talked a little bit, hinted at a very fascinating history of the digital lens flare, which we can all bug Stu Mashowitz to tell us about. And we threw some Vegas on that depth mat. Now, lastly, I would like to also let everyone know, I think we talked about it you guys talked about it last week while I was gone, but we have a mug that you can buy. It's a VFX and Chill mug. It's got VFX and Chill on it. You can put coffee in it, and you can drink from it. Not a lot of things we offer.
Those are my favorite things to do with coffee mugs.
Those are my favorite things to do with anything, is to drink from them and put logos on them. So if you would, please go here and buy 27 of them.
Would you?
Let us know what you think. Take a picture of yourself drinking coffee from all 27 at once. But don't actually do that. I'm not liable for anything that happens when you do that. Neither Hashi nor I think, have the mug yet. So all of our coworkers have them.
I have them on the way. Yeah, all our coworkers have taunting us with photos of them and their mugs.
Here's actually what I would like you to do. Not you, Hashi. You can do it. But I want everyone here to buy a VFX and Chill mug. You don't have to. We're going to love you anyway. You're welcome without. But
of course,
if you buy one, take a picture of yourself drinking from it. Hashtag VFX and Chill. VFX ANDCHILL. And be real funny if I misspelled it. And post it on all your social media channels every day, indefinitely until the end of time. No, just do it once. Don't spam people. But we'd love to see you guys. We'd love to see pictures of you holding up your mugs. Bonus points if you are comped into some kind of desolate wasteland. Or there we go. Hashi did it. This is the cheap version. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Actually, I mean, we could just right now comp it on. But here's what I think is really important, guys. We did it. We went until 2 o'clock. We have 5 minutes left. What do we want to do with that 5 minutes?
I would like to say that we looked at some other Loki effects that we're really excited about.
Maybe we can do those next week.
That could be fun. Let us know if you're enjoying Loki effects. And I think that if we have an idea of what we're going to do, we could do a hint of work ahead of time. And that might be exciting for you guys to have like us show up with done roto and a couple ideas.
I think we will.
Of course,
we'll do a little bit of roto next time and some plates. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about which one? The blah or the
ooh, man, I think those both sound fun. I love disintegrating people, but I do have a lovely tutorial on the Thanos snap effect. And were you to download that template, you could very easily reverse engineer it into one of the effects of the, what would you call it? It's a spoiler alert for the show, but.
We're talking about the disintegration one.
Disintegration effects.
So that one goes a little something like this. Blah! So that's fun. I actually vote we do that one. Here it is in slow motion, a little close up. Goodbye, friend.
Excellent. This is in the cold open pre-title, by the way.
It's not a crazy spoiler. This is a spoiler for a really funny joke. Have. I think so. That's one option we could do. Next week we can go blah, or we also have. I have so many windows open. We also have this fun thing, which is a little bit of an obvious thing to do. It's from the trailers. We're not giving anything away. this projector effect. It is a spoiler for Endgame or Infinity War, but good God, guys.
Come on.
If you haven't seen it yet, you have no desire to do it. It's this cool TVA projector effect. I think it's coming from like three light projection sources, and it takes footage from Infinity War and rotos and creates this like interesting depth like projection with this really fun like transitional, the way they get around having to cut between angles from Infinity War in this projection. They do some cool transition effects.
Looking, there's a very funny guest effect that happens right there for that transition. It looks really cool, but I was looking at this up close and
right there. I'll back it up. So it's wrong one. No, that was the right one. It's when it transitions between angles. Let's see.
Yes, it looks like a cool, just like kind of glitchy, pixelated effect. But we looked at it a little bit more in slow motion, and it is straight up 100% the card dance transition from After Effects.
It's card dance. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. And it works with this, like, the TVA's whole mid-century modern, like retro future look, but it does also lend itself to a glitchy feel as well.
Seth, if you want to flip back to me, I can tease something for next week too. So I was watching these scenes and I thought they're nifty. In that, let me see. I did a teeny bit of prep for something that I didn't end up, we didn't really do. But I noticed that in all those scenes, I found the originals from Infinity War. So there's like Loki thinking about his decision here. There is him holding the knife up to Thanos and the transition to this other view of Thanos. But one of the things that Disney has that I do not have is access to these full plates, because you can see all of Thanos and stuff in that in the projection display.
Yeah, here, hold on.
Image.
But don't do your stuff yet. I'll show. We got. I'm cropping it. That's ridiculous. But yes,
let's see here. I got it on my screen too.
Okay, coming back to you.
All right, so back here. So these are the same three shots. We've got this, we've got Loki, we've got the little stab action, and then followed by this wide, really cool composition. But the problem is, we wanted to recreate these exactly because I thought that would be a fun thing to do. And these are the original shots. This is their framing. They're missing bits, and like the camera's bobbing around a little bit, and that's okay. So what I did is I thought, well, if I crop these down and have transparent on the top and bottom, what would be the worst that could happen if I had my good friend help me out?
Phil.
And, Phil, hey, what's up, man?
Good to see you, pal. You're huge. Terrifying. Stay away from me.
Good. What would happen if you took a letterbox thing, had a transparency above and below, and then had content-aware Phil take a pass at it? And I want you guys to just look at this. There is, granted, let me see. I'll try to make that a little bit bigger, maybe. So for all of these,
that's so passable.
This is the original frame, but the top and bottom are being completely synthesized by Phil. And I just got to say, Phil, that's remarkable. So look at this shot. So tease, look at this. The original image is just that, but because the camera's bobbing around, it gives the content-aware Phil a good guess at what's up there, and it filled it out. Here, I used a few reference frames to tell it, Thanos' head is generally round. And that's sort of all I told it with 3 reference frames. And based on that, it did its very best to try to add a ton of range to these shots to make them closer to a full 16:9 ratio compared to the, what would you say that is, Seth, the original?
Original 239,
Probably.
235, maybe. I
Yeah.
say 239.
But yeah, content-aware fill to fill in your shots for pan and scan so you can have extra stuff. It's a very cool thing. I'll talk about that next time if we return to this.
We're gonna start seeing this pop up in TVs, and we're gonna regret having talked about this.
I know.
Phil, good God,
Jeez.
Hashi's triggering that on that's his side, so that actually did startle me. I was like, "There's something behind me in my house."
I love it. Phil. Anyway, thanks, folks.
Here's what I think is going to happen, Hashi. What if you and I went and did? Let's do the disintegration effect next week. Let's try to do both of these things. But let's between now and next week. How would you feel about both of us separately going off, attempting that disintegration effect, and then we come back next week and we can kick the show off by comparing our results,
a head-to-head
approaches. What do you think?
Excellent. I like this idea. We will need an agreed upon set of things to start with, unless we are trying to rip frames and recreate it within the footage of the show.
So we'll shoot a plate or something. You're talking about elements, right? Like plates and such.
Naturally. Now, I feel like I love the idea of us sort of working on the same thing so we can compare, but I feel like it might be fun for me to disintegrate you and for you to disintegrate me.
That's it. I love it.
We'll do it. I like it.
Okay. Done. We could even, like, on our green screens, film plates like overs. So basically we'll film a plate where I go, ha-cha! And then we'll film a plate where I go, oh no! And you'll do the same.
I'm going to light my green screen really poorly for Seth.
I'm going to pro tip. It won't be the first bad green screen that I've had to comp. And we'll be a whole ad for Primat.
I'm going to unleash my army of AI VFX bots on it and say
it's getting to the point where Hashi's not even doing the work anymore. He's just uploading it.
My ultimate goal is to not do any work. I don't know about you all.
He says after the episode where he did almost all of the After Effects work. So next week, technically, you're on chill duties while I'm on VFX duties. So
that's right. So yeah, I'm just going to show up with a disintegration effect, and I'm going to let you do your thing. I love it.
Guys, thank you for tuning in this week. Please put in the comments requests for future VFX shots you'd like us to tackle. Hit us up on Twitter on either at Red Giant News or at Action Movie Kid or The Action Movie Kid. I forgot.
Action Movie Kid on Twitter.
Action Movie Kid on Twitter. Awakeland 3D on Twitter. The Seth Worley on Instagram, and I believe the Action Movie Kid or Action Movie Kids. God, what is it on Instagram for you?
I don't know. The Action Movie Kid.
The Action Movie Kid
on
Find
Insta.
us, and talk to us and love us because we love you. Thank you for watching the show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.